Ray, I'm scared. LOL. What do you mean? Huh? If a handheld is $1,000, I can't even imagine what this new system is gonna be priced at. Yeah, about that. What is up, y'all, and welcome to Xbox Ready, my YouTube channel that is all about Xbox. Obviously, I am a fan of Xbox, if you couldn't tell. That's the whole reason why I have this channel in the first place. But even I have to admit that Xbox lately has been in the headlines for all of the wrong reasons. Some of the worst Xbox headlines lately have been, well, this habit that they formed where they just keep raising the price on all sorts of things, on their consoles, on Game Pass. They did give us cloud gaming for free, or they gave it to the other tiers of Game Pass now, and they're working on an ad-supported tier of cloud gaming. The prevailing storyline has been, damn, it's getting expensive to support my Xbox habit. There are some people out there, I feel, that are still holding out hope that Xbox will reverse this decision and say, you know what, we've listened to all this feedback, we're gonna bring the prices back down. But unfortunately, stuff keeps coming out that just absolutely crushes those hopes. Exhibit A, Xbox dev kits, the things that you need to make a game for Xbox consoles. Previously, if you were a developer, if you were a studio and you wanted to buy one of these kits, you shelled out $1,500, 1,500 USD. Not anymore. Xbox has decided to stay consistent on the whole price increase thing and say, you know what, instead of $1,500 for those dev kits, let's make it $2,000. So let's get this straight here. They are making it harder and more costly for fans, potential customers to get their hands on an actual Xbox console like the Series S or X because, well, as I've discussed in a previous video, it's hard to find Xbox consoles out in the wild right now, and then when you finally see that updated price tag, chances are you're going to be like, I don't know, it's going to make you think twice rather than being an impulse buy. So they're doing that for the customer on the fan side, but they're also sort of doing that on the developer side as well. Since the beginning of this generation, there's been all sorts of stories about developers saying that it's just not worth it to develop for the Xbox platform, and I've come on here and been like, Xbox needs to make it as easy as possible for developers to put their games on the Xbox platform, and raising the price on the necessary hardware doesn't really seem like that's helping a lot. However, me, personally, I don't have to worry about that. I'm not trying to buy an Xbox dev kit, make my own Xbox games. I'm just a YouTuber. I'm just a guy with a camera and a microphone. So let's swing back on over to the fan side, to the customer side. If you're watching this and you're like my friend who was messaging me earlier saying, hey, I'm looking at the price for this Xbox Ally X, $1,000, what does that mean for future Xbox consoles? Is it gonna be around that same ballpark range? What's going on? And yeah, that is a worrying prospect, considering that the Series X at launch was $500. The idea that they would double in price Xbox consoles over just one generation, that's pretty shocking, especially when you take into account that they went out of their way to make a budget-friendly console with the Series S this generation. They were specifically like, you know what, let's provide a cheaper alternative if people don't want to blow even $500 on our flagship console. Well, well, I got news for y'all because Sarah Bond recently did a round of interviews, one with Variety and one with Mashable on YouTube, where she talked about the future of the Xbox hardware division. She once again assured us, we are not going anywhere. We're gonna keep making Xbox consoles and they're gonna be better than ever. This is a drum that she's been beating for a while now, ever since she made that claim that the next-gen Xboxes were gonna represent the largest technological leap in generation history. Pretty bold claim to make, considering elsewhere people are like, yeah, I think we've reached the limit on console power. Like, anything after that is just gonna be, it's not gonna be a big jump. It's gonna be like when you level up your strength in Elden Ring all the way up to 90, it's like past 60, you're only really just getting the teeniest, tiniest improvements. In this Mashable interview, she specifically says the next-gen console is going to be a very premium, very high-end, curated experience. We don't have a lot to go off of because she's being very vague, using that corporate speak, but the words premium, high-end, that suggests to me at least that these consoles are going to be expensive. No matter what the next Xbox is going to look like, whether it's going to be consistent with what we've been hearing about these Magnus leaks, weeks. If we're going off of those rumors, what Sarah Bond is saying, we can assume that the days of something like the Series S coming out, a budget-friendly console, those are long gone. Yeah, kinda makes you wish that you appreciated it a little bit more while it was here. Kinda makes you wish that people weren't shitting on it as much as they did for these past like 4 or 5 years. Xbox gives us a Series S, cheap, budget-friendly console. Everyone bitches because they're like, it's holding back gaming, it's a potato. And then they're like, okay, we're gonna swing back the other way. We've heard that feedback. We're gonna go ahead and make a nice high-end console. Everyone's like, no, we don't want to pay that much for an Xbox. That might be a little bit dramatic because Xboxes always come in twos, even with the Xbox Ally and the Xbox Ally X. Hey, the Xbox Ally X, top of the line handheld. It's gonna be $1,000 if you don't want to pay that. We got the Xbox Ally, the white version, for 600, what is it? 650. So it's entirely possible that they'll come out with this Magnus-powered Xbox and say, hey, this thing is $1 bajillion, but if you don't want that, we got the Xbox Lite, or whatever terrible, confusing name that they're probably gonna come up with. It's interesting because what Sarah's saying in this interview leads us to believe that the things that we're seeing with the Xbox Ally X, a lot of those things we're going to see in this mystery next-gen Xbox. Not so much that it's going to be a handheld, it's going to be a proper flagship console, but the Windows integration, some of the AI features that they're talking about with that NPU, and also the aggregate library, the multiple storefronts thing that we see on the Xbox Ally handhelds. It's something that they mentioned in that initial announcement with AMD just a couple of months back. All of that seems to be making its way on over to the next Xbox console. There's a lot of speculation as to why they would raise their prices or go for high-end, more expensive hardware next generation, especially when you consider, okay, yeah, they're not selling as many consoles as the PlayStation 5 or the Nintendo Switch 2. There are some theories out there saying that they're doing all this as a roundabout way of winding down the Xbox division and just cutting support for it entirely. I don't know about all that, but another possible reason that we're seeing these price increases, especially on the hardware side, are having to do with certain administration's stance on the economy right now in the United States. I usually try to stay out of politics because, again, I'm just a YouTuber, a guy with a camera and an Xbox, a couple of Xboxes now. When it comes to the economy, I know the basics, maybe even less than the basics, so I never try to throw my 2 cents in there like I know what's going on. But more than enough people have suggested that these price increases are due to new tariffs that are being enacted or not being enacted. I don't know what's in effect just right now. All I know is that the US is in sort of like a trade war pissing contest with China right now, which is where the majority of Xboxes are made. And not so coincidentally, Microsoft seems to be so concerned about this that they're moving production, manufacturing of Xboxes out of China. And they believe that they can have the manufacturing part of Xbox consoles completely out of China at some point in 2026, which is good news. Maybe we won't see a full reversal and all of a sudden like $400 or $500 Xbox consoles, but it couldn't hurt, right? Not a lot of people happing about more expensive Xbox consoles, whether it's the present ones or any future ones that are coming out. I got up in arms about it, but I'm like, wait a minute, I already have a Series X and a Series S. I got appreciating assets, baby. And I think some people are taking it a little bit too far. They're like, Game Pass is $30 a month now. Better sell my Xboxes, spend hundreds of dollars on a PlayStation and hundreds more on new PlayStation games. It's like, okay, instead of paying the $30, they're just canceling your subscription. You bought an entirely new console and an entire new library of games. The math is just not making any damn sense. But I get it. No one likes to pay more for stuff, though. It's never generated positive press or buzz when a company raises their prices. But just throwing my 2 cents in there, going back to the Xbox Ally X, which was the kind of the point of attack for this entire video. Yes, this thing is $1,000, but it is a good quality console. Are there some things that I wish to see tweaked on the software side of things, on the interface? Absolutely. But this is a good console that, again, no one is forcing you to buy. When the Xbox Ally came out and when I did my kind of first impressions video about it, there's so much talk of like, well, why would I buy this when I can buy this thing for cheaper and it does sort of the same thing? Sure, yeah, I guess you could totally do that. And that's kind of what is cool about Xbox right now, even though a lot of people are up in arms about it. Even if they come out with this high-end premium console, You can buy it if it looks really cool to you, if it suits your needs, if you have the budget for it, but you don't need to buy it in order to play Xbox games. It's not like PlayStation. It's like, oh my God, Spider-Man looks so cool. Ghost of Yote looks so cool. Oh, but I gotta buy an entirely new console just to play those games. Okay, I guess I have to. Oh man, I want to play Donkey Kong Country or this crappy looking Pokemon game. I gotta buy a Switch too. Those rules don't apply. And how they got there, yeah, it was a little questionable, kind of abandoning ship on console exclusives. But the end result, just looking at it and thinking on it, praying on it, meditating, I don't think it's as bad as what people are making it out to be. Because the truth of the matter is that everyone is raising prices, not just Xbox. Nintendo is raising prices, PlayStation is raising prices. Everything is getting more expensive. So yeah, the next Xbox might come out and be $800, $900, maybe even a little bit more. But you can see them trying to get a little bit tricky with it. They'll have this super expensive Xbox, but also an ad-supported tier of cloud gaming that you can play games that you own through. So you got dirt cheap ad-supported cloud gaming coming. And then on the other end of the spectrum, these high-end products like the Xbox Ally X, this mystery Magnus-powered device. They just need to make it clear what's available in the middle. What is that mid-range console gonna look like? Is it gonna be made by Microsoft at all? Or is it gonna be another partner device like we saw with the Xbox Ally handhelds? What we're seeing here is growing pains. Microsoft, Xbox, they were known for this one thing for what, 15, 20 years. They cultivated this loyal fan base, and now for the a millionth time, it seems like they're pivoting in a new direction. That direction is most likely PC gaming. Well, when you spent the last almost 25 years cultivating a console-only audience, that pivot into PC gaming, that's gonna cause some friction, absolutely. Because that's not what your audience bought in for. So it is of paramount importance, no matter what Magnus looks like, whether it's a handheld, a flagship console, whatever, they need to make it to where it supports your existing Xbox library, where you can play Series X and S games, or even older Xbox One and 360 games on that console. And I'm not talking about with streaming or remote play. There needs to be some native way to play those library of games that their fans have cultivated over the past 20 years. It's the least that they can do, especially if they're trying to sell them on this idea of like, no, guys, that's not the future. Old consoles like that, exclusives like that, that's dumb. We got to do like a PC hybrid thing. Well, sorry, Phil Spencer said it himself. Digital libraries are king. And if I can't access my digital library on the next Xbox, well, that's a problem. But if they can pull it off, that'll be really cool. A thing that can play my console games, but also let me play Steam games, PC versions of games. Let me put a bunch of weird mods in my games like I could on my PC. Make all the NPCs like big booby blue dinosaurs. Okay, no, I don't really actually have a mod like that. That just came off the top of my head. I'm praying that they're working on something like that, because you could talk about, oh, high-end, curated, premium experiences all you want, but if it doesn't provide backwards compatibility, that doesn't sound very high-end at all. Anyways, guys, that's all the Xbox stuff I gotta talk about today. Thanks so much for joining me for another edition of Xbox Ready. If you made it this far into the video, consider subscribing. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.